Hey there guys, how's it going? So we found out today a little bit more in today's notices about the version 2.6.0 update, which is going to start rolling out as of I think next week, which is pretty exciting. So that's going to be the PvP update that brings out not only PvP, but an evolution of our 6-star medals up to 7-star, so a brand new level of power. It's going to introduce the Subslot system into our Keyblades, which means that each of our Keyblades we can put so far up to 120 medals like inside it to power them up even more, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a sec. And we found out a little bit more about the story mode. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and break all of that down. So we found out that the 7-star medals are, well, which we already knew, are just a straight up evolution from our 6-star medals. So you take your 6-star medal up to level 100, as it probably already should be for anyone that you're using right now. Experience is pretty cheap right now. You take that and you evolve it. And so you evolve that with medals. Some people were saying, well, is it going to be like a material, like a gem, or I don't know, some other sort of evolution material? But I mean, when we go ahead and look in to evolve a medal currently, it's got the little medal face up top and then up to 5 evolution materials down the bottom. So we probably should have guessed that it was going to be evolution medals and not materials. I'm really curious as to whether it's going to be... Okay, so we know that these medals are going to be given out in PvP mode, at least to the start. I'm really curious as to see if it's going to be like a generic... Okay, let's say you do quite well in PvP mode in the first month, and you're given out, will it be like one generic type of evolved medal that just evolves medals after 6-star into 7-star, like Fantasia Mickey A is right now, that just evolves any medal no matter how special it is from 5-star up to 6-star? Or will it be like a tier thing? Will it be like, okay, you get this evolution medal and that's a tier 8 evolution medal, and that can only be used to evolve tier 8s, and you can't use, no matter how many of the lower tier evolution medals you have, you can't use those to upgrade, you know, your higher tier medals. I'm really curious as if if they'll do it like that, because that could give usage to older medals. And the reason I think that is because, we'll talk about it in a second, but in the promotional screenshots, they've provided tons of images of lower tier medals being evolved to 7-star. As well as that, it has to be gilted, and not only gilted, but gilted to its maximum special attack bonus. So again, for a tier 8, that's 230%, which is not too bad when guilty campaigns were coming up, you know, once or twice a month, but hopefully that remains a pretty common factor, because if you do roll a tier 8 and you get the minimum outside of a guilting campaign, I believe that's 150%. So that's 80 friggin' 80 mirrors you'd have to invest in just one medal to be able to evolve that up to 7-star. So hopefully they'll have like more frequent guilting campaigns. Or just do away with it. Just let us have guilting campaigns all the time. Never not be in one. Please. Okay, so in addition to that, obviously when the medal evolves up to 7-star, it would likely start at level 1 again, but keep all the stat bonuses it's gained so far. Does that mean it's going to be able to go up to like level 150 or level 200? We don't know just yet, but it's pretty safe to assume that they're going to be able to get a pretty sizable stat increase by going up to level 7, which, you know, that does make a fair bit of sense. In addition to that, the special attack multiplier is going to increase. Now, I'm pretty curious as to this. Are they going to apply like a generic, okay, let's say you get plus 0.25 to a tier 1, plus 0.5 to a tier 2, so on and so forth, to like all the multipliers. You know, a tier 8 gets, you know, plus 3 or plus 4 or whatever. Or is it going to be like a multiplier factor, where let's say a tier 1 gets a 1.1 times bonus to a special attack multiplier, does a tier 8 get like a times 2 bonus to a special attack multiplier? They're going to have to find out some way of doing that, because it could get broken really, really quickly. really quickly. So I'm really curious, like, I really want to know what you guys think when it says greatly strengthen its parameters and special attack. Is that just going to be a straight up additional additional factor, or like a multiplication factor? I'm really curious about that, because that could really determine which medals could be like, you know, total diamonds in the rough here when it becomes like, you know, what should I evolve up to 7-star? Maybe, you know, older tier 3 medals like I don't know, like Master Xehanort and Master Ericus, that were quite good back in the day, but they were prohibitively expensive, might suddenly have a use nowadays if, you know, the multiplier on a tier 3 medal gets a significant boost. It's like, well, that could actually be pretty good without much investment. And again, we don't know yet. We don't know if it's going to be really expensive to evolve tier 8s as opposed to like a bit cheaper to evolve tier 3s, or if it's just going to be like a straight up, it just costs, you know, 5 evolution medals to evolve. We have no idea yet, but it's fun to speculate in the meantime. In addition to that, so we found out a little bit more about subslots. So subslots are basically, if we take our little keyblades right here, as far as we know so far, each keyblade is going to have 120 subslots inside it, and we can pop medals in the same sort of way that we put medals typically on the correct slot, as in the slot that gives it the biggest slot multiplier. We can do that inside the Keyblade itself, and it seems like we have to do it in order, it looks like. So we can't just like go, okay, if I don't have a magic medal for slot 5, I can't just skip over to slot 7, for example, and put a speed one in. It does seem like you have to fill them in the correct order, which is kind of interesting. It means that you're going to have to evolve your medals in a certain order if you want to power up Keyblades. At the start, the evolution medals to evolve a 6-star into a 7-star are going to be really, really rare. So if you want to make the most of it, you have to consider, okay, do I want to evolve my 7-star medal that just provides me with a straight up power boost? Like, let's say I've got, I don't know, like the new Lexaeus medal, for example. Do I want to evolve that for the power boost, or do I want to evolve something else because that way I'll get a higher multiplier across my Keyblade? It's going to be interesting to find out. Really interesting here, and I'll compare this one to the Japanese screenshot in a second, but it seems like the different tiers award you a different level of multiplier. So it seems like the tier 1s, we can't see any tier 1s, tier 2s, or tier 3s, but we can see 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And then one tier 8 for some reason, which I feel like this is an old screenshot, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So from what they've got here, tier 5s give you 0.005, tier 6 is 0.006, tier 7's 0.10, so that's a little bit of a jump, and then tier 8's 0.012. Really curious though, because tier 8s are listed with the image of Kingdom Hearts Sora A, like one of the very first medals in the game. I feel like this is like a beta screenshot, and I'll show you why. Let's take a look at the Japanese version of exactly the same screenshot they put out on the equivalent of their notice. Let's take a look at that. So we have not only tier 4, 5s, and 6s, but we also have a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. I don't think we have a 7. No, we don't. Or a 4. No, we don't. Okay. But you can see the multipliers are a little bit different. So you can see the tier 1s and tier 2s keep that same pattern of being 0.001 and 0.002 respectively. Tier 3s though go straight to 0.005. So a tier 3 in the Japanese version, from just based on the screenshot, which again I think is wrong, but a tier 3 is worth the same amount of points as a global tier 5, that's pretty crazy. I don't think that's right though, because if we take a look, okay, so yeah, a tier 5 is up to 0.012, which is the same as a global 0.01, a global tier 8. I think though that the global version is quite old, because I think they knew they were going to have tier 8s out. Let's say the development team were going to send this promotional information over to the Japanese development team were going to send this information to the global team, probably months ago, probably quite a few months ago. They knew tier 8s were coming out, but they didn't have any definitive artwork logged in at that point. It's before Sephiroth EX Plus, before any of that. So they just said, okay, we're going to have tier 8s, and we'll just put in this Sora A as a placeholder for the meantime. We'll just pop that in there for the meantime. They hadn't figured out any of the slot orders. Well, they hadn't completely set in stone all the slot orders just yet, or the additional multipliers. So I think what we actually want to do is we want to look at the Japanese one for a more up-to-date version. You can see that it has several current medals like Zolden Kai and the Stained Glass medals, which are quite recent, as well as some of the older ones. So obviously they don't have, they could have used Lexaeus Kai and Lexaeus Plus in our version of the game, which would have made it very current. But at least that's only a month old. That image is up to 2 months old. So I think the Stained Glass medals are out as well, so it's got to be even less than that. It's got to be only a month old. I think that's the one we want to go off, and you can see the reason there. The multipliers are way higher. The multiplier is up to 0.025 for a tier 8, which is over double than the global tier 8 is currently listed at. I think that's the one that's going to be, don't quote me on this, but I feel like that's what it's going to look like. And you can even see that both Keyblades are Starlight, but the order of the medal attributes is different. At least I'm pretty sure they're both Starlight. You can see that tier 1 is a power in the Japanese version, whereas slot 1 is power in the Japanese version, whereas it's magic in the global version. Again, I'm pretty sure that's evident that the Japanese version is the newer one and the one that's going to actually end up in the final version of the game. I mean, there could still be changes from this point onwards, but anyway, you get the picture. Let's see what that actually means though. So if we go ahead and think that a tier 8, and again, we're probably going to want to evolve tier 8s just on a pure power basis. But if we look at tier 8s right there, awarding a 0.025 bonus, hypothetically, if we could somehow fill up a Keyblade with 120 slots at 0.025, that is a ×3 multiplier to each bloody slot on any Keyblade, like Starlight for example, or Darkgnaw right now for example. If you had Darkgnaw filled up with 120 slots, and I assume I assume Darkgnaw would just take power metals. I assume it would just require power metals if you're going to do that. So let's assume that we can get 120 pretty quickly, which we won't. It'll take months to get 120 7-star 7-star metals. But assuming we can get a Darkgnaw up to 120 slots, all at 0.025 each, that could be like, you know, a +3 multiplier. With the current booster that we have on right now, that final slot in Darkgnaw will be hitting for, you know, 7, a ×7 multiplier, which it's going to get out of hand really quickly. But I think this is going to take a long time to roll out. I think it's going to take a really long time to roll out. But I mean, the people that will get more powerful the quickest are of course going to be the higher spenders, the ones that are able to win in PvP mode more often and therefore rank higher and therefore get the evolution materials needed to evolve it up to 8-star. Again, that's why I'm thinking that I can see it in both ways. I can see it as the evolution medals are going to be like just one type of currency, just like Yen Sid is right now, just like Fantasia Mickey A is right now, where you only get a certain amount, and tier 8s cost tons, and tier 1s cost like next to nothing to upgrade. So you then have a choice, you know, do you want to get your Keyblades really powerful, and therefore unlock tons of different subslots to increase the overall power of the Keyblade that way? Or do you want to just like go ham on really powerful metals, and maybe not get as many slot multiplier bonuses, but have a collection of really powerful stuff to eventually use them with? I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see. Again, I could be wrong, I mean, there could, I don't know. Like I said, there could be all sorts of different possibilities here, but I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. I think that's pretty much everything that came out today. The only last little thing was that the story mode is going to get a quick update. Basically what's going to happen is the story mode is going to get a little skip button. So once you complete one story in a quest line, like for example, Gummy Blocks Avenue, or Gummy Blocks, let's get the first one. Bang, so a shooting star probably leads into the whole Gummy Blocks side quest. I believe once you complete one of these, and this is mainly aimed towards new players, it should just go ahead and unlock like all the Gummy Blocks quests, which I think is fantastic. Maybe not within over different worlds, maybe like for this one for example, it just unlocks, let's say it starts here at 35 and shoots all the way off to We Change Worlds, which is at, you know, 47 there. But still, that skips like 12 quests, which I think is really needed in the game. I was literally just saying last week to a different YouTuber, I don't know how they expect new players to catch up in this game, when it's like, okay, here you go, here's a brand new game, Kingdom Hearts game. There is relevant story information in there, but a lot of it is locked behind like the title of the game didn't even pop up till quest, what, 400 I think it was, when you fight Arbor for the first time. We're up to like quest, you know, 860 or something, or whatever it is right now. I think, sorry, 760. And then however many quests are up to in the Japanese version. It's just like, it's prohibited, there's no way you're able to do any of this. Like a new player would be turned off so quickly thinking like, I don't do this crap. Like there's new story information in here relevant to Kingdom Hearts 3, maybe I should play it. And then they get stuck doing like 20 billion Gummy Block quests and they're like, no, I'm out. This sucks. I'm not having any fun. I want to go fight, you know, the high level Organization 13 members, but I'm stuck doing 20 billion quests so I can earn materials to evolve a Keyblade, which I don't even have yet. You know, everyone says to use Fairy Stars. Oh, that's only locked behind, you know, 500 quests. It's just, no one's going to do that. So I think it's very smart introducing a skip button. Maybe you'll have to like smush all of the cutscenes together when you do skip it or something, but I don't know. I mean, a lot of the story is kind of irrelevant anyway because we're all fighting in illusionary data worlds, so effectively none of the Disney worlds even matter, basically. So I think it's smart. I think it's pretty smart what they've gone ahead and done there. So I'm pretty excited to see all this new stuff in the update. I really want to hear what you guys think about it. Is it going to be, you know, if there were a limited amount of resources, do you think you'd strategize upgrading your tier 8s first, or going for like a diverse range of, you know, maybe tier 2s and tier 3s, just so you can evolve your different subslots and maybe get more use out of your Keyblade that way? I don't know, I'm excited to find out. The new avatar boards we got today are fantastic. I would definitely recommend buying at least one, if not two of them, because they're both really good. And with that, I'll leave you guys until next time. Catch you later, guys. All the best.